everyone, welcome back to Beneath the Kotatsu. My name is An, and next to me is my co-host Rodriguez.
Rodriguez. Ayase Yuto. Why did she chose Rodriguez, by the way?
I don't know. Well, okay.
They just wanted to be like edgy and not use Sebastian for once.
We haven't even introed what we're talking about.
Lay it on them.
So for episode 39, we're going to be talking about Nogizaka Himitsu. What was it? Himitsu no Nogizaka, right? Or
Nogizaka Haruka no Himitsu.
I think it's just Nogizaka no Himitsu, right?
Nogizaka Haruka no Himitsu.
Oh, okay.
No,
oh, it's
Haruka
like that
Nogizaka's secret.
Yeah.
In English.
Nogizaka's secret, yeah. So this is like hands down probably one of my probably my favorite romance comedies. How did you like it?
This is a part rewatch for me. I watched the first season actually when it aired or after it ended. Like I batched it and watched it in one go. But I completely forgot about it, and I didn't realize there was a season 2 and an OVA ending the series. I like it, but since I marathoned it in a span of like 4 days, I'm so exhausted. Oh, it's so much, and it's a lot of rehash over and over again.
Yeah, I kind of understand how you feel regarding that, because they do a lot of the same
shtick.
tropes type things over and over.
Yeah, they recycle their own material.
Yeah, I guess it's fine because it's a romance comedy. They do that all the time.
Yeah.
But do you know why this is my favorite romance comedy?
No.
It's because they actually go somewhere. Like,
oh yeah, they definitely do.
Stuff okay.
Not like, initially. It was like 2008 or something, and then 2012. I think.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Season.
Like it starts out slow, and then it's like it escalates, right? Like season 1 starts out slow.
It escalated a lot more than some shows do in their entire 24 episode run.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like as a romance comedy, like the main character Haruka, she actually takes the initiative a lot of the time. Refreshing. Yeah, that's why I really, really enjoy this romance comedy. Like I don't think there's probably only maybe a handful of romance comedies where the romance actually goes somewhere and it just doesn't stay in that weird limbo.
Oh God!
Four
when they have
seasons
like 5 different girls or something like that, and then he never chooses one. Oh, we're all gonna be friends.
Well,
leave it up to the audience.
Those are more like harem filler type things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But like, if I were to like, let's say, I forgot what the anime was called. It was the one where the guy has to get like pretend to be in love with this girl because.
Are you talking about the one with the blonde hair?
Yeah, the one with like a mob boss
or something.
Nisekoi.
Nisekoi.
That was. Yeah, like that anime literally went nowhere for like 2 seasons.
Did it ever end anywhere?
I think in the manga they actually choose he actually goes with one of the girls. I won't say if you haven't seen it, so I won't spoil it.
Okay.
For that. but that's what I hate about like just romance comedies where they stay in that weird limbo spot forever and it just goes nowhere. And I think that's the reason I just like this anime, like Nogizaka Himitsu. It just breaks that mode, especially since this aired in like 2008, in that type of time frame where we get a bunch of those like romance comedies like Zero no Tsukaima, Toradora, probably like a bunch of them. I just can't remember.
Oh yeah, there's hundreds. I feel like of anime that just go nowhere. What annoys me about this show is that it goes somewhere at the end. Season 2 comes along and they dial it back, but like it's all but confirmed that they're together, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I don't know, are we? Are we not?"
They don't dial it back, or how? I don't.
A little bit they do.
I that was for the plot though. Like they dialed it back because of the plot. It wasn't like
it felt unnecessary. It was just more content. It was for people that wanted to see more of Nogizaka no Haruka, which is okay. But they also did it at the start of the OVA. At least that was only 4 episodes, and it actually capped it off perfectly.
Yeah, I like this is the one romance anime where it has a perfect ending. Like this
It has
is
an actual ending, like an actual result.
Yeah, an actual ending. And I guess if you haven't seen it, like, should we spoil the ending?
Skip a minute ahead or something.
Like, yeah,
I mean, there's really no way to spoil the ending because from the get-go we know like what's the end goal of the show.
well, that's the thing is like people like they hear. We'll talk about the first two seasons, but like the I don't want to spoil what really happens in the OVA. I feel like the OVA should stay OVA, and if people want to watch,
let's not mention the OVA.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's like that little cherry on top. The directors give you to feel like to make it feel like, oh, okay, that this is now a perfect anime. It is the full ending for the
It's
anime.
done. Could have been like 13 episodes shorter, but I'm okay with it. At least we got an ending.
Regarding, like, what was your favorite season, 1 or 2?
I don't have a favorite between the two. I'd say 2 more because it's actually no, 2 is annoying. The whole arc with we're gonna just the cosplay, not the cosplay, the idol audition arc was a little bit annoying just because Yuto fell for the same shit as he did last time with the blonde-haired guy. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't provide her a life. That type of trope.
Yeah.
Like, she's already the richest person in the freaking universe. Her dad has helicopters. God forbid they have like a Haruka-shaped mech somewhere in their home, because in the ending they like
okay
have,
let me ask
just
you,
cut
like,
some random bits and there's like a Gundam looking Haruka there.
I know you're hella jealous.
About what?
Because he has his own nerve center.
Oh, dude, it's literally Gendo.
Exactly.
The voice actor's the same, and they put him in the same situations as Gendo was, but they play classical music the same that you would have heard in Evangelion.
Dude, okay. Dude,
I was like, is this the same guy? I was like, there's no way this is it. Wait, is this Kenpachi? This sounds like Kenpachi. It's like, hold on a second, it's the same guy.
So regarding voice actors, dude, they do so many voice actor jokes. It's hilarious.
They had a lot of industry stuff. They're
like
at the big site in some of the shows.
Like, in the first season, do you remember when they kind of bump into Nobunaga and the maids are trying to like distract him to get him to go away, right?
Yeah.
And what was it? Nanami, the maid with the long blue hair or whatever. She's like, "Hey, who's that? Is that the famous voice actor Ueda Kana?" And Nobunaga's like, "What? Where is she at?" And then the maid does like a interpretation of what her voice sounds like. And then Nobunaga's like, "Oh wait, that sounds exactly like her. I need to go find her." And the maid is voice acted by that same that, like, character. And
Nogizaka's voice is like the main character in 2 different anime in that show, which is kind of funny.
Oh, it's because
he even said that voice sounds familiar in like season 2. I forget where. I think he was talking about the lacrosse anime.
Yeah, it's because the lacrosse anime, it's literally the same cast. Like,
oh, is it like entirely the same cast?
Yeah. Like,
I didn't even notice the rest of the cast.
If you look at the lacrosse characters, they look identical to the main to main character, except just
color wise.
Except no, they even have the same hair color. It's just that their facial change is just a little bit
enough to throw me off because I didn't notice.
Yeah, I was like, how do you not notice? They look exactly like the same, like height wise and everything too. Like even the
they were on the
characters
screen for a lot of the time, and a lot of the time they were like folded down or bent over. Not
exactly.
Like,
there's some parts where they talk to each other back and forth. It's very short. They're in like 30-second bursts, but you can definitely tell that it's basically the same as the main characters. It's just switched to now they're in a lacrosse anime.
Yeah. And speaking of voice acting in the anime, that episode where he was a manager for a week and they had him voice act somebody last minute, and it was just a lizard. It was like, I was laughing. Everybody clapped and he got the whole cast to sign the magazine. That was awesome.
Wait, did they ever show him giving her the... I don't think they ever did, right?
No, he dropped it on the floor when he walked into those 2 managers conspiring with all that merch made. And no, it's like typical. Oh my god, typical idol managers. They want to separate them from, they want them to be pure, etc. Not have them have a personal life.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I feel like we're jumping all over the place, aren't we, with this anime?
I mean, it's like there was a lot of just repetition of tropes and stuff like that, but it was also had a lot of memorable moments for sure. Like, I
love
thought
this
I
lineup,
forgot the season one, but I actually remembered a lot of it. But it all came back to me as I watched it.
Yeah, it's very like I hands down, this is probably one of my favorite, and that's coming from like a person that really loves romance anime, especially since we literally just did what, Bell Dandy just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So Bell Dandy, and then coming into this anime, it's just I know it's a lot of romance comedy back to back, but man, this anime just brings something different that you don't get with a lot of romance comedies.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like this anime is really, really hitting its own, like you can really tell that it's the type of anime that you would see in like the 2000s, because of like the whole premise around the anime. Like, Haruka's secret is that she likes anime, but nowadays everybody likes anime. It don't really matter. But
back then being an otaku was well, not like it is a good thing in Japan now, but it's a lot more socially acceptable. Back then, you're like a parasite because they assumed the otaku meant like a shut in a hikikomori.
Well, I think the reason why it spoke so much to me is because it really relates to American anime in the 2000s, because if you go to school, either one or maybe two or three people max or something like that will know will even know what anime is, you know what I mean? But now
everybody knows.
And everyone knows what anime is. That's why I'm saying, like, this anime is really a product of its time in regards to like what the premise around how the anime starts.
Everybody dressing up as My Hero Academia for Halloween.
Well, like, not anymore since Squid Games just came out, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like, so I guess if you haven't seen the anime, I'll go through like a basic summary. So the main character, Ayase Yuto, he's just like an ordinary person, an ordinary boy just going throughout his high school or junior high or whatever, like school life or whatever, and he's basically kind of shoved in almost into like a small anime group by his friend Nobunaga, which is like the king of otakus or whatever.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think he would. He just really likes anime a lot, and he talks to Ayase about anime, and Ayase gives like zero, care about anime at all. But then on the other hand, you have Haruka, which is the female character, and she I wouldn't say she loves anime as much as Nobunaga, but she's really into anime.
Oh, for sure. And it's like a secret. She has to hide under the blankets and watch it.
Yeah,
Everyone in her family knows except her pops somehow.
Yeah,
even though they have like a whole.
I don't think her mom knows.
Army.
She knows. Just
the dad doesn't.
I don't think the mom knows until they confront her, like, during that time, because I remember the mom was like,
she's like, as long as the grades are fine.
Yeah, as long as the grades are good and stuff like that. But again, ahead of ourselves, but what was it like? She hears him over talk about like anime and about how Nobunaga got the school to buy like a very super rare anime book that he wants to check out, and then
they just ordered it for him to rent, right?
Exactly, to check out at the bookstore or whatever. And so he once he returns it, she gets curious about the book, and so she checks out the book, secretly, but then, Ayase is there, and then he sees her that she has the book, and then, one thing leads to another, and she's like, well, you just don't tell anyone I have the book. And eventually, the secret does come out, and what happens
she's like, oh, my life is over. And she skipped school for several days. Yeah. Traumatized, her image.
But the thing is that Ayase even, was it covered for her, because what happened was, like, she had the book in her bag. Bag, yeah, and then someone bumped into her, bag fell, and then the book came out, and everyone kind of looks at her like, ooh, she's that type of person that likes anime. And Ayase, jumps in like, oh, this is my book, she's just returning it to me. And basically she feels really embarrassed because this situation has, like, this situation school. Yeah, this situation has happened before because she used to go to like a private all-girls school, where they found out she likes anime, and so
she got teased for it.
Yeah, and this is the reason why she's transferred to like a more public school.
Was it public? That place looked pretty lavish, like rich and.
I mean, I don't really know.
Well, I would assume not, but it really does look high end. Maybe Yuto has like a scholarship to go there.
I mean, his sister is friends with the teacher, so
yeah, she like lives there. That could have been the connect.
Honestly, it looked like a normal school. It didn't really look.
In some of the shots in season 2, it was like super high end, like, type of castle looking place, like a palace.
You know what happened? I think it was just a normal school, and then once Haruka started going to that school, maybe it got like a big generous anonymous donation to upscale the school.
Oh yeah, that's what it could have been. Maybe I didn't even notice that. Is that something that went unsaid? Because it definitely looked different in season 2.
I feel like that's probably what happened, is that they just got a generous anonymous donation.
How did I not notice?
Like I think that's just come from me, like what I think probably happened, but overall I think it's just
it makes total sense,
school.
Right? Because she lives basically like the head of a country would live.
Yeah, so basically now after about 2 or 3 episodes, they start semi-dating in that type of romance comedy where not a lot of them get out of that zone, and I'm so glad they get out of that zone after like maybe 6 or 7 episodes, right? Where it's like you could say that Haruka seems shy and whatever, but compared to other like protagonists in other romance comedy, she takes a lot of initiative when it comes
so much
to like
more.
When it comes to like being in that dating scene, because she invites him out to dates, and then she invites him to parties and stuff like that. Like, even though it may look like she's and it's not airheaded, but I can't think of a word to
shy.
Not shy either. Like when you don't know that something's bad or something, or when you don't know that you're supposed to be embarrassed about something.
Yeah, exactly. She just isn't used to that situation and reacts to it. Doesn't really sell that she's embarrassed too much. Well, she obviously does.
Well, she does, but like, there's some scenes where she's like,
I know the word you're talking about. I just can't forget it because I got too much Nogizaka in the last 4 days. Just to dial back really quick, the school looked from the first episode really lavish, so definitely looked private school. Maybe he just got in because of the teacher.
Maybe, like, honestly, I think it was probably I think they said it was a public school because in one of the episodes, I think what was that like when it was like the little sister episode where she's like, I should have transferred to public school like my sister instead of the all-girl private school or something like that. So I think that's the reason why I think it's a public school. And I think the reason why she's in public school is because she got shunned from private school because of the whole I like anime fiasco or whatever. And I guess that's fine. I can't really dial too much into like the school.
It's just the setting.
Yeah, it's just the setting and however much it is.
The setting is why I wanted to talk about, because they did do that thing like 3 times where the antagonist would say to Yuta, like, you're not good enough, basically. She's on a whole nother level. When really everybody in the show is beneath Nogizaka, like tier-wise, in terms of the importance of the family, like their background and stuff like that. They're basically the top of the chain.
I remember there was a scene where I guess we'll talk about it because it's like it's part of season 1, and I think it happens right after Nogizaka or Haruka invites Yuto to go to the convention. What was that convention called again? I forgot. The big one.
Wonderfest, was it?
No, the one where they sell dojinshi, like the really big one.
Yeah, the one at Big Sight or whatever it's called.
Kamikit.
Comic-Con.
Yeah. And actually, a lot of the places they go out to date are actually real places.
Definitely.
Like, do you remember when
no
they
reason
went to,
why it wouldn't be.
Do you remember when they went to the Maid Cafe?
Was that a real Maid Cafe?
It was at home Maid Cafe. That Maid Cafe is actually the biggest Maid Cafe. It's actually a franchise in Japan.
Is it still around?
It's a franchise and it's the biggest one in Japan. So yeah, it's actually really big. And
I mean, they did also have other anime characters in it, like Shakugan no Shana, Index, and the OVA.
Do you remember they did the little Toradora little tiger thing?
What do you mean, like the drawings that she had?
No, like Toradora. There's a scene where she's like, "Oh, you think I'm like a cat, lion, something," and
the tiger palm, whatever.
Yeah, the tiger in her hand. Remember that was like definitely a Toradora reference, right?
I didn't even notice it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
All right. So getting back to Comic Kit, yeah, like, I just love that. She does like the crappiest, like she's really trying, and I like basically the reason why they're at Comic Kit is because she wants to try to sell like a dojinshi or whatever.
They only sell like 3 copies, right?
I think she only sold 1, honestly.
No, they said 3 at the end of it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
And what was it like? Afterwards, when she gets home, her father finds out that she likes anime, and then she runs away to Yuto's house, and then they get together, and they're kind of protecting her, and then her father literally sends out like
Hellhound,
a nation's dude. Like during that scene, he's like, go get Haruka back, and then you see like F-31 Raptors or whatever just flying off in the background.
Dude, this was like the first time I think I've seen an anime character with like bloodshot eyes. The maid, like aside from a demon or some sort of magical being,
that's right.
The maid was like so shit faced. She was like, did she like walk into the door and smash her face?
She was like a zombie.
Gotta go patrol. Yeah, like
I mean that's how I would
teach her like out drink her or something.
Yeah. I mean, I would be like that too if I had to stay up all night, tried like watching out for like guards or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. But like it was funny. It was like for only one little shot, but then when she saw the sniper on the roof, it like went away and she like kicked his ass.
Like she like slammed the roof so hard, like created a dent into it. Man, I just really like that scene too. Like, there's so many good scenes.
Oh, definitely.
In the is there like one specific scene you really enjoy?
Not one specific scene shout out to me. I would say overall I liked it, but nothing in particular I liked more than the others. Yeah, it was all right.
There's no one specific scene that really this is like my favorite part in the
like. This isn't the type of show I would go back and watch YouTube clips of. Is what I'm saying.
I wouldn't watch YouTube clips, but I would rewatch the anime. If I was gonna watch this anime, I'd probably rewatch the whole thing. There's like not really a part because you can't really enjoy a part without
consistent.
Like
throughout it's consistent.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes, probably my favorite scenes for this anime, would probably be the Christmas party. I just really like that because like. That's like the probably the only part where you see I mean there's plenty of parts where you see Ayase Yuta like be like vulnerable because usually it's Haruka that's in that vulnerable state.
Was that where she got to sit in his lap, the little sister?
Miko? No, that was the one where Yuto passes out because he was working.
Oh, so hard. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of fan service with every character, and Mika's especially.
When I was rewatching like a little bit of it, right? I was like, I remember this anime had some really tasteful fan service. It wasn't very tasteful. They just went full out,
dude.
They went
crush and face. Like immediately with Mia Shina, they introduced her with the panty shot. It wasn't even. They were hiding. Like if anything, from season 1 to season 2 to the OVA, the fan service like just went more and more and more.
It went more
like,
absurd,
the start of the OVA, I know I'm not going to talk about how it ends, but the start of it, they basically show hentai on the screen in like the first minute, except it cuts off with like the character's face, all the parts you'd have to censor. The tasteful censorship.
The tasteful.
Oh, and speaking of the beginning of the show, they fake you out at the beginning of every season. Am I watching the right show?
I remember when I recommended. Yeah, when I recommended you the anime, you're like, "Am I watching the right one?" I had to watch it.
I exited twice. I was like, oh, "Okay, it's a fake intro." I was like, "Oh, god damn it!"
Yeah, so what it means by fake intro is when the anime starts, it shows a different anime on like a TV. Like the characters are watching a TV, but you don't see that. You're just seeing the TV, so you're like, "What is this? What am I even watching?" And they do that twice. So in the first one, they do it to like a Precure like fairy type anime, and you're like, "What am I watching?" And then in these season 2, they do like a lacrosse anime.
Yeah, and then the OVA, it's the hentai. Like it's the dudes at the hotel watching it.
And I remember in. I mean, you can easily tell that they're trying to do like a second fake out for in the second season, because even though you think it's a fake out, the characters look the same. So I mean,
I was like, who are these new characters? Like, oh wait, they're faking me out again. I was like, why did I think they wouldn't do that?
I like that they're consistent with some of the jokes. It's good.
Well, yeah, they rehashed a couple of the plot points a few times, but there's only so much you can do in a romance comedy. So.
Okay, so in the let's get to the climax of some of season 1, because I really enjoyed the climax of season 1. And
what
I feel like there's 2 climaxes, right, for season 1. The first one is when Haruka thinks that Yuto is like cheating on her with what's her name, Sheena. And
it happens quite a bit, but Sheena isn't really that big of a roadblock. Like, there's no antagonist that's too big of a roadblock. I would say the cosplay managers are the biggest encumbrance to Yuta and
wait, the what?
Nogizaka. You know, like somebody that gets in between them.
No, the cosplay. Oh, the idol ones.
Yeah, the idol. I said
okay.
Cosplay.
Oh yeah, I was like, who are you talking about? So yeah, you know what? Here's the thing about Sheena. I don't feel. I wouldn't say bad. It's not bad. Like usually when you're watching a romance comedy, you have a favorite person, right? Like a favorite girl, and then the other girl you immediately shun. You know, like, I don't like her. I don't want her to get with the main character, something like that, right? But with Sheena, right. I didn't feel that. I was like, man, Sheena is getting like the bad end of the stick, because
no, she did everything she wanted to. She got all her stuff out, but she from day one, she just her odds of ending with Yuto was like 15%.
It was 0. Yeah, let's just be real.
I mean, crash your face, but yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if let's just say out of nowhere, like, if Haruka wasn't able to date him anymore, she was able to date Yuto now, I would have been fine with that. You know, I was happy that she was able to get her stuff out and that she was able to do what she wanted. But that's the thing I like about this romance comedy, is that I don't hate the other person. Yeah, the secondary female character that they, you know, that's trying to fight for affection or whatever, because she's...
Well, it's also the little sister doing it too.
But yeah, but I feel like
the little sister gets further, but she's just there for fan service.
Yeah, she's just there for like laughs and comedies and stuff like that. Like, nothing serious.
I don't know about nothing serious. Remember when in season 2 she was like, "How gonna make your heart go, Miko, whatever." Yeah, and but then the maids walk in on those. Oh hell, I'm embarrassed.
I feel like that's more
she was trying to take her spot. It was every time she was doing anything. Yeah. Like baking a cake is like, okay, how's the cream gonna get on her face? 2 seconds later, oh, there we go.
like what they do a lot in this anime is they fake you out with a lot of pre thought out
Notions.
fan service. Yeah, like pre thought notions fan service where they're basically like showing you a scene where the maids are like listening through a door or whatever, and then
it's perfectly clear from the like I never fell for this. Like they're just gonna get interrupted. And it's gonna be something else. Like, oh, they're doing like that's a typical shtick in comedy where they make it sound like something it's not. Like I remember on Saturday Night Live and shows like that, they would start drawing characters, and it would look extremely dirty at one point, and then oh look, it's a rabbit, something like that.
Yeah, and like I just remember the one where they're like, "Ooh, yours is so big and hot and whatever," and then Ayase was like, yours is so." Yours is so small and warm or whatever, and then
are you talking about the cooking?
Yeah, it was the one where they're making hotcakes.
They also did that when they were drawing the dojin.
Oh yeah,
he was like, oh, you gotta put it in, and it was like, oh, you did dip it right. It was just them putting the pen in the inkwell.
Yeah, like they just go really like they sell that trope like so many times, like probably like 6 or 7 times in just season 1, right? Like several.
Oh yeah. Well, not several times, but a lot. More so season 2, I'd say.
Yeah. Like in regards to the climax for season 1, the birthday surprise or whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you like how it ended though?
I hated it just cuz
really?
I didn't hate the ending. I hated that whole episode with all the rich guys giving them gifts cuz Yuta has everything that they don't. They all want Nogizaka's time, and he's the one that gets the majority of it. He's the one that hogs it all, if you could say.
But that's the thing. I think that's what makes it so good. Is because
he's already like there's no way they could compete. He's there with her like all the fucking time, and they're showering her stuff with her.
Like you know,
but
that
they don't
saying,
know that.
You know that saying where it's like the best ingredient is hunger.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what the last episode is trying to get across, where it's like where they try to put Yuto down, because we as an audience know that that he knows her personally, and they're semi dating, at that point they're pretty much dating at that point, but
they just put that to have a bad guy, and it was kind of done. I wouldn't call it lazy. It's just kind of
like shoehorned, almost. Like it felt like
shoehorned, and it didn't feel like the character as he typically is. But I guess they kept on doing it again because, as I said, the cosplay idols and in another part of the show. I
mean, if they didn't have like a
bad guy,
bad guy to like have a climax for the show,
make it a lot shorter.
Yeah. That's what I think that's the reason why I personally really like the ending scene. Like of course I hated the blonde character, because he is a dick, and you're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to hate him.
Thank God it was only for like one episode, because that was unwatchable, borderline unwatchable for me. Say, oh, this is so stupid. But I paused it for like 5 minutes and came back. Oh look, they fixed it. He got his just desserts.
That's why I liked it so much, is because I
didn't know that it was gonna be like that at that time. I completely forgot that part.
Yeah, like I loved how they ended it like with the guy just getting utterly demolished.
And then his dad was like put in a really bad spot.
They do it in 3 parts where like it just gets better and better. Like
it's like that gif of that guy like opening his eyes really wide and be like, wow, the blonde guy. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
wow.
like the 3 part I'm talking about is like the first part is like when Yuto gives his gift to Haruka, and she really likes it, and the whole crowd is like, whoa, we've never seen that side of Haruka before. And then the second part is when the son is all trying to get all mad, and then the grandpa shows up.
Dude, yeah. I was like, don't ever put your hands on an old guy wearing Hawaiian shirts in a rich ass area, because he's important.
Yeah, exactly.
The rule of anime. He's always got to be like a family member or something like that. It pops up a lot.
I think that's a rule of thumb. Like I remember, I forgot.
Well, in general, don't do that to real people, but in a comedy anime, it's like, don't put your hands on the guy dressed like that.
I heard this. I forgot where I heard this before. Like But I remember a guy was talking about how he was in a meeting, like a corporate meeting, and everyone was in like actual business suits and whatever. And there's one guy in like flip flops and I think it was probably like a button, not a button down, but probably something like a Hawaiian t-shirt.
Something super casual.
Yeah, and he looks over to one of his buddies, like, who's that guy? And his buddy's like, that's our boss. And it's like, and it turns out that's like the CEO of Walmart or whatever. And it was like a meeting at Walmart or whatever. And I forgot where I heard this, but I thought that was like it's like the same deal where it's like, you know, the guy where like the flip, like the dressed out attire is probably the most important person in the room. You know, that's what they're going for.
You could swing. You could dress that way because you're the one that makes the rules.
Exactly. And what was it? And then the third part was when what's his name? Gento.
Gento. It's literally Gendo Ikari, but with the T in it.
With the T.
Gento.
He gets up and shakes Yuto's hand, and then everyone's like, "Whoa!" You know, like you got this.
Who is that kid?
Yeah, who's that kid? Like you got like the most influential person probably in the world shaking his hand or whatever.
Because they were talking about how Gento was dealing with Mossad. I was like, oh, what? Fucking Mossad. Okay.
And I thought I just really love that scene just because I do like the triple interaction type of thing where like they make you hate that character beats just to bring the level down, and then they really hype it up. I really like that episode.
Yeah, I definitely had my mouth open.
Like you forgot all about it until I said something, huh?
No, I forgot. Like I remembered the first 3 episodes, 3 or 4. Right. The rest I forgot of the show.
And then I really like in season 2, like they bring the blonde haired boy back. And this was when
Nobunaga?
No, not Nobunaga. They bring like
the rich guy. You're talking about the butler party.
Yeah. So basically Ayase not Ayase. Ayase Yuto becomes like a butler in episode 3 randomly, so he can make some money to buy
quick
Haruka.
Note.
Yeah,
Yuto's like super legendary in this season.
How so?
Straight up getting to be the butler for that rich girl randomly, and then being the manager of that one idol randomly as well.
Yeah, just
good lord! In 3 weeks he has some crazy jobs. Construction was the most normal.
Yeah, I want to talk about more about the butler thing after I explain the butler party thing.
Yeah.
So because he was a butler, he gets invited to the butler party, which is basically all the butlers, you know, with all these influential houses, in one room, and they're having a party or whatever. And they introduce a new maid. What was her name? I don't remember.
Alice, the one that doesn't speak. She just has like French hair.
Yeah.
She's foreign, doesn't really speak Japanese.
Yeah, so they introduced like this new maid. She's like 8 years old or something. And
she's hella strong.
Yeah, and basically she's just she's that type of typical character where she's like mopey and kind of sad and shy and something like that. And during this party, they have like this little raffle bingo type game, and she really wants this like frog doll or whatever. And during the bingo game, she's like getting like none of these numbers, like 0 numbers. And Ayase eventually wins, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get that rice cooker." And then he looks over to Alice, and she's like all moping in the corner. She's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go get the frog because I'm the nice guy, and I do this type of stuff." So he gets the frog, and then in comes the blonde rich guy. And, he's being, rich. Is like, "Oh, I own all of you because I'm,
a bespoke butler outfit."
Yeah. And Alice bumps into him with a drink, and then he gets mad at her and steps on the frog.
Was it called like Galorian X or something like that?
Is that a reference to something? I'm not sure about. I don't know. Like a Gundam
I really
reference?
Don't know. No, okay. Not Gundam.
So basically, Ayase apologizes to him. And then the rich guy's like, well, if you want to apologize to me, you got to get down on all fours and beg for forgiveness. And most of the time, like when you're saying in romance comedies, they usually don't do it. You know, they're like more up on their haunches not to do it. But Ayase is like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do it because I don't lose anything. So he gets on all fours and apologizes, and the rich snobby guy pours like wine on him, and then he was gonna tell his minions to like attack Ayase, and then the maids get in the way and be like, nah, that's not gonna happen, and then he tells his like cronies or whatever to attack the maid, and the cronies were like, maybe we don't
do that. Couldn't they just like all band together and refuse to maid for that family or something like that? Just
I think that's what, honestly, that's probably what would have happened if the father didn't like call in or whatever, and was like, yo, my boy's a dick, go fuck him up.
Oh yeah, he's like, you do whatever you want with him, I'm protecting my spot.
Yeah, because like the maids and butlers are like the backbone of your house. You gotta treat them like crap, you know. Like it's gonna end real bad for your family. Like, I'm surprised he didn't learn from the first time.
Oh, definitely not. He didn't, and he wouldn't learn probably till a long time into the future. I don't think he ever will, to be honest with you.
Well, that's the reason his dad sent him to that butler party, was for him to get to know butlers, not to be snobby or whatever, but he didn't catch on. Yeah, he didn't catch on to that. Whatever. Okay, getting back to when
just a quick detour, because with the maid and butler stuff, an important thing that I wanted to ask you was, who's maid number 2?
I don't know. I think they really going hard on that, like, you're not supposed to know what.
I feel like it's Nobunaga. I was like, Nobunaga's the man in the chair. I feel it.
No, it's not Nobunaga.
Yeah, it's Nobunaga. He's been deep undercover since he was a little boy. That's what it is.
All the maids are female. How's it gonna be Nobunaga?
Nothing saying it can't be.
Also, they really did dirty to my boy Nobunaga in season 2. They really cut him out hard. No,
he suspiciously popping up convenient times to point Yuta towards Haruka. That's why I think he's number 2.
I don't think so. I think he's just like he can't be number 2 because like there's several scenes of him and Ayase hanging out when they were kids. So
I know that's how deep it could be. That's how deep the cover goes.
He's a plant.
No, I don't think it would be, because he gave him the magazine, and then Yuta gave the magazine to Haruka.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When they were kids or whatever. Man, this anime just makes.
Well, maybe. Who knows, dude? Maybe the rabbit hole goes deeper. Maybe Gento was like secretly grooming Yuta since he was a kid to bump into Haruka like that. Who knows?
Gento, like, every chance he takes tries to kill
he could just Ayase. Could just be an act. We don't know. Man rolls with Mossad. Okay, has jets on his lawn.
Going back to when Ayase was a butler, so he works as a butler for this girl for a week. I don't know, a couple of days or whatever.
Yeah,
and I just on his final day, the compound, the mansion gets raided by like 2 attackers, you know, and they start doing crazy amount of damage to this compound, and then once they get inside, it turns out to be his sister and his teacher, and they were like they're just super hungry because they don't know how to make food.
Oh yeah, they're pretty lewd and just drink all the time. They need somebody to cook their drunk snacks. Okay, so I want to call BS. On this because when Ayase gets paid, right? He gets paid like $1 because the remaining amount has to be taken out of that fund to repair all the damages his sister, his family,
and the teacher did, right?
Yeah.
And so he has to find a new job. And I'm like, hold it. Shouldn't his sister technically be giving him money? Because she's the one that did the damage?
Well, they're drinking all the time. So
like that's what I'm saying, is like,
count it towards rent money. Why not?
I guess. I mean, he does all the chores and he does all the cooking or whatever. So.
Yeah, for sure. He pays his fair share, but still.
I'm just saying he got.
It doesn't have to make too much sense. It's a
romance comedy, yeah. But I just felt so bad for him though.
I know.
I'm like, bro, what the hell?
Pays dividends for him later on.
I guess.
I won't say why. You'll see.
Oh, like in the finale, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't mention.
What else really stood out for you in this anime?
The ridiculous names some of the things had, and some of the very specific introductions of characters. Like I remember when they introduced Mika the first time, her hobbies were like normal, and then her last one was super out of nowhere. It was I think it was playing tennis, the violin, and then she said taming a hog. It was like, what? They never went back to it. They never showed her with hogs, nothing. And it was just some ridiculous line that stood out to me.
It was just like a one-time line that just really
it was on like episode 2 or 3 of the first season. It's like, taming a hog, what?
Oh wait! You know what really stood out to me so randomly?
What?
In the last episode in season 1, when Haruka and Ayase were together in the room, and Ayase's like, "Oh, you brought the magazine with you," and she's like, "Yeah, I cherish this magazine with me." And then you see the back of the magazine, and it's like an IRL real shot of like 2 girls in a bikini.
Was it? I don't remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this?
I was like
they mosey acted to where like it like you couldn't really tell, like they blurred it type thing.
That was probably a reference that I don't know of then, because usually when they just draw something, it's highly specific to them, and it'll be something that shows up later.
No, like you know when you buy like a Jump magazine and the back is always filled with advertisement.
Exactly, like any magazine.
Yeah. That's what I thought was so funny is when they showed the back of the Innocent Smile magazine. It was just 2 girls in a bikini.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. I need to go back. Oh, another good spot was when Mika broke her foot. I think it was like season 2, episode 7 or 8. She's just like smashed it on the door.
Wait, was that Mika or Sheena?
My bad. It was Sheena.
Okay.
Amamiya Sheena. And she like straight up ended in a castle. Like, yeah, Jesus Christ. I like had to rewatch it twice because the noise that they made was like so bone chilling, I guess. It was like, oh, Jesus.
Oh,
we all know that
the little
footstep
noise
feeling. Yeah. It felt too real.
Oh man, the amount of what do you think about like just the crazy amount of fan service that gets escalated? Like literally every episode gets more and more crazy with the fan service.
Yeah, they definitely did. And like some of the steaming, like when they were in the hot springs, like you could still see everything. It was just clear white veneer over them. Like on Crunchyroll, at least. I don't know about like when it first aired.
I probably with like a Blu-ray release or something like that, they probably did that. But I feel like in season 1 they were pretty tamed about the fan service.
They were, but they got super daring, dude. Even the titles on season 2 is crazy. Like episode 1's like, I want to come with you. What's episode 2 is please put it in. Episode 5, oh yes. 6, my body is burning up. 7 is I might have gone in. 3, 8 is I'll do you. 9 is my first time. And then the rest are a bit normal.
They really go hard on the innuendos. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, dude. Like it's a little bit funny, like when they're being listened in on. Sometimes Gendo would like, what the hell are you guys doing? I can't believe you're doing this, and he like listens in on them as well.
Bro, since we're talking about Gento real quick, that scene where what was it? Sheena confesses to what she thinks is Yuto, but it actually turns out to be Gento is under the
his
sheets.
wife's right there. It's like, so this is why you've been nervous about this hot springs trip. It's like, no, I've never met this person in my life before.
Well, wait, so what happens is that Sheena like basically hugs hugs what she thinks is Yuto, and then Gento pops out, and then she falls into his arms, and then his wife just conveniently walks in, and he's
she's there with him.
Yeah, not like she walks in on like right when the girl falls into his arm, and she's like, okay, so what is going on here? And there's this part where it's like, I can explain it, and she just goes wild on him, and then you do a hard cut to just a couple of the other characters talking, and then they do another hard cut where it just shows Gento in like a corner, like in the fetal
Huddled.
position.
Some Vietnam flashbacks.
I laughed so hard at that. He was like bubbling to himself. He's like, I'm a good boy.
It looked like he had a teddy bear with him, I swear.
Oh, that scene was so good. I love that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one of the tropes I really like about this anime is that they, whenever like Ayase bumps into like one of the like another female character, right?
Yeah.
The first response is not to slap him, which I'm so glad, you know, like in a lot of romance comedy where they do that type of thing, and the female gets all mad and they slap him. Like in this one, it's more reasonable, where it's like, oh, watch where you're going, you know, like, and he gets up and is like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, you know, that like how a real interaction would work. I'm like,
oh yeah,
finally. So
well, he bumps into the one idol, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, she's an idol. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, but she's like really aggressive at him.
I mean, if I like if you were like an idol and you get bumped into, you know, I think that's probably how an idol would act. Like, especially like she's not like an idol. She's more like a pop singer.
Star. Yeah. But she works for that company that has idols. But I know what you mean.
Dude, how awesome was it? Like in season 2 when like the final plan gets revealed that the two idol contractors or whatever was trying to make Haruka an idol, and they go
I'm so glad they got messed up.
Yeah, they go into that scene with Gento, like just full on Evangelion, whatever the lights.
That's what I'm saying, the classical music. And wasn't he doing the hand thing as well?
He was doing
I was like, there's without a doubt, my man, this is why they hired this man.
That's what I'm saying. Like they really, really thought about like the voice actors. Like,
yeah.
do you think like a lot of the scenes were because of the certain voice actors they hired?
No doubt.
Or
no doubt.
Or do you think the scenes were like set up to where they have to have a certain voice actor to, you know, in the show?
I don't know if the Gento stuff was anime specific, but it feels like they hired him either specifically for it or because of it.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't read the manga, but I feel like if you're gonna make an anime of this and you're gonna have a character named Gento that looks exactly like Gendo, you know, like except more buff, you have to have the voice actor, right? You have to have that specific voice. Yeah, exactly.
This is the alternate reality. This is after Shinji. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil the movie in a different. I was about to.
A spoiler, a major spoiler within a major spoiler.
Yeah, if Shinji was a girl instead of a boy, this is what would have happened. It would have been fine.
I just love the part where like the two girls are like where they're like, oh, you know, Haruka's gonna be an idol now. We're gonna announce it, and then Gento pops up. And he's like, you guys are done because this idol hall. This whole area, this whole company, it belongs to me now.
No, he said he bought all the merchandise.
He bought all the merchandise. He bought the company. He bought the stage hall they were in.
Yeah.
He bought everything.
What was funny is when he's like, you know, cut after that scene, he's talking with his wife casually. Like, oh, those two really are better instead of managing. Producing that you just show him like mud wrestling or something like that.
It was like
one of those shows,
oil wrestling kind of Batsu game type
exactly.
thing.
I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely embarrassed.
It's hardcore. Yeah,
he could have done a lot worse, but they went a more reasonable route.
Well, I think the reason why he didn't do much worse is because his wife and Mika talked him out of it. For
sure, he had to sort it out.
Yeah,
that
because
been worse.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, you know, like, even though they're trying to force her to be an idol, like, at least now you know that Haruka's talent is good enough to make her an idol or something like that, and it's like, you're right. She's the sword.
Man. But really, this has been a really heavy Nogizaka no Himitsu week for me. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean,
I crammed it back to back. I mean, it's my fault. I had more time to do it. Like, I had 5 more days to do it, but I just saved it for last minute.
we technically had like 2 weeks, right? For
No.
this anime?
It was like
or maybe
a week and 2 days, a week and 3 days.
Which is usually more than we get, right?
Yeah.
I would say
24, anime episodes on top of the weekly stuff that I watch. Jeez, it's been heavy.
It makes sense, but overall, regarding like romance comedy, how would you rate this?
This is definitely one of the better ones for me, most specifically because it actually goes somewhere.
Would you say this would maybe be top 10, top 5 in your romance comedy list?
Oh, for sure, top 5.
Yeah, this is my number 1.
I had to give it a real think to think what's my top pick for romance anime. This is definitely up there.
Yeah, this is like if I was gonna recommend anyone a good romance comedy, this one has to be on the list. Definitely give this anime a try if you haven't watched it. It's great. I mean, we could talk about this literally all day, but it's kind of hard to express, like
without you have to see it.
Exactly. And if you're gonna watch this anime, make sure you watch the first season, the second season, and then the OVA, which I thought was the third season, which is called Finale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
first
you're like,
one,
it doesn't matter. It's like, what are you talking about? They actually,
I thought it was like a separate OVA or something.
No. It's part of it.
Oh, okay.
It's just such a big lag between season 1 and 2. That's why I didn't watch it. I thought they were never gonna make any more of it.
Dude, they upped the animation a lot in season 2. Like,
well, yeah, because it's like 5 years between season 1 and 2.
They really upped the jiggle physics a lot. I noticed that. I was like, damn, they're really going for it. They're really going for the
especially
for the fan
OVA.
service. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No shame in the OVA because it's not on TV.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe we haven't even talked about the opening and closings for the anime, which is they did a really good job. Like they're really catchy.
It's enough for them to have me humming them without thinking about it.
Yeah, and the BGM, the BGM song they always sing. Oh, it's so catchy too. I think that's the reason why I really like that Christmas scene is before Yuto collapses, Haruka sings the BGM song, and I don't know what it is, but you just basically say Himitsu a bunch of times. And I don't know, just her dressed up in the Santa outfit or whatever, and her singing the song. That was so memorable to me, and it's such a small part, and I don't know why, but I really like that scene.
Yeah, if you like romance comedy animes and you don't want to be left hanging like many do, this is the one. Yeah,
if you don't want to be in that type of rut, after finishing like a romance comedy where you're like, now I gotta go read the manga and see if it goes anywhere. Just watch this one and just be content because they give you the full package.
Oh, and by the way, they got a spin-off being written.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Currently, or?
It's still going. I'll talk to you off about it because it would spoil the show.
Ah, okay. All right. I guess besides that, any final part-taking words before we end the podcast?
Gonna watch some regular anime. Something that's not romance comedy. I'm like... Even before this, I was tapped out, but this was a little bit more rejuvenating. It's a lot of the same.
It's good, though. It's good.
Like, oh, yeah, for sure.
At least it's not one of those generic romance comedy where you're left hanging. So, yeah. Final words for me. Go watch the anime. It's great. That's really all I have to say. Besides that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.